from them versus G2 on Fracture. So now seeing G2 versus FPX actually gives us an opportunity to see some context there.
And that's all the group stage is to me, to an extent, right? Is trying to find out, okay, well, did someone just drastically overperform? Is this something now to expect long-term from some of these teams on these maps? Because we didn't know much about Focus, but what we do know is that was an aggressive start. And Evova's the one to actually follow it up. So Sugetsu are going to get punished, and this is off to quite the quickened pace already.
Actually, lots of information revealed here, but Nuki immediately going to stamp that out. Zipan and Angel will fall. Just Ardis and Shao left to find. Now, they've already rotated across towards A, but it's a pretty heavy hit here coming in from G2, stacked up in the death ball.
Yeah, this is going to need some heroics, and it's not going to happen. Already going to be down to one, and Ardis has to face the music here. Could maybe punish across a little. Would love to do some damage, which he's at least going to get one of, but that's it. So G2 comfortable on the start here, and Hoodie to close out the round, and Hoodie was the highlight for me in that previous matchup. Stood out quite substantially, had a great performance. Nuki eventually warmed up as well, really started to affect the outcome of some of the rounds, but that Focus game definitely left us with, I feel like, more questions than answers. So you're right, I do hope this kind of tail ends towards that. But let's kind of dive in a little bit more to, you know, what maybe Angel sitting on Omen can bring in comparison to that Yoru. What does this then kind of, I guess, can you infer anything from this? Is this a switch up purely for G2? What's the method to the madness?
I mean, for me, seeing Angel slip back onto the Omen feels like FPS is going to slow things down a little bit.
Okay.
Obviously, the better example is going to see on the attack, but this for me feels as if they do want to play a little bit slow, a little less reliant on some of I guess some of those coordinated hits we saw at least FPX attempt to string together. Like I said, they didn't find an awful lot of value from it versus Fnatic, but that was really down to a very robust defense from Fnatic. Honestly, they weren't really biting too much. Xiao actually going to obviously catch the information of Meadows' whereabouts on the other side of that, but with a shorty. Now actually backed away in a position where it's going to be difficult for him to make anything work. Zipan might catch ahead here, but Hoodie's sharp.
Yeah, and if this is kind of a taste of things to come, this could be another good day for Hoodie. Certainly made value before, but he's been handled. But at this point, again, it's still a 4v3. I still need to see a little bit more damage coming out from FPX if I do want to be on board for them doing as they need to. So Spike going to go down. G2 trying to at least get the time on their side, which they have achieved. But the post plants are far from comfortable.
It wasn't like an isolated Nuki actually with a
that's good
reposition here. Shao trying to close the distance once again with a short. He's going to find the first. Meadow actually responds, finds his third on the round. But yeah, got a little dicey there. Like I said, if Shao's able to close the distance, I thought actually backing away from Sand there was going to be difficult for him to find anything towards main or towards Sand. I did find one on the way in, I think just inside that smoke, but not an awful lot of damage. Good to see actually how Hoodie and Mixwell were obviously... Oh, Hoodie's actually going to get the rifle here, so G2 really going to bolster this purchase a little bit. Nuki, the only one to be sitting on an SMG still. FPX obviously come into this. Actually a Bulldog on the table here from an Angel. And a Guardian for Sugetsu, so that investment kind of having a knock-on effect here. And the one-way works out though. Zipan going to be rewarded for that. Mixwell the first to fall in round 3.
And quite the needed beginning considering the purchase. Getting it to a nice little 5v4 is going to certainly aid things for FPX. But as said, let's see. I don't think that rifle's particularly high on getting recovered here, as you can already see them slipping away from that, as it is being slightly watched, slightly guarded by Angel.
How's Shao got hit so quick? I mean, actually with Mixwell falling, yeah, the trap is down and the pinch is perfect. Hoodie will fall now. Nuki next on the chopping block. But still wins that with a Spectre.
Never.
Okay.
Yeah, you think, well, that's an everyday moment for somebody who's got a rifle against, you know, an SMG. Not the case when it's Nuki, but gotta look towards the site because Ardis, I thought he was good for 2 there. Not the case at all. Meadow with the trade. But speaking of trades, just put it all in the hands of one. But Nuki is not far from the ult. He's got 35 seconds and a 1v2 now. Got the upgrade of the rifle. No longer dependent on the Spectre, but you can see FPX trying to double up here, trying to play security on this potentially. But actually finds a 1v1. It's clean enough and no swing. Expecting the tower, but you can see Sugetsu's position. Sat safely to watch the cross. But you could see the potential of a disaster in the making there.
Yeah, I mean, completely separate there in terms of that 2v1 for FPX. Angel
I thought they were doubling up, but you're right.
Yeah.
It was a 1v1 at the end.
And a ton of damage done. In terms of G2's bonus there, you're walking away pretty happy with that one. I mean, the knock-on effect being Bulldogs here. Artist one off the tour de force, so we'll probably just ride this out with the Headhunter. A heads-up play from Shao, though. As soon as Mixwell falls, he punishes the fact that that trap is actually offline towards bridge.
That was a nice call. Going back into things. And the oh!
Okay, then.
What? Sorry?
Down A.
So, rewind this round and give me it one more time, because two of them were just absolutely lambs to the slaughter. And now Shao and Sugetsu, and bear in mind, Shao still only had that Spectre, does a little bit of chip damage, but it's nothing at this point as just Sugetsu. But this was over in the blink of the eye. We still got a minute to 10 seconds on the board. Sugetsu did have a good performance last time, but this might be out of reach. Closes the gap as quickly as possible. Wall considered now going up and gets at least a fight on the site. A second of comfort before the clothesline should have come in, but Nookie gonna go down and not fight for Sugetsu. Another 1v2, he's got the wall in place. This could be something here. He wants another pick. He's gonna at least get the slowdown at bare minimum. Meadow not sitting so pretty now, and that ain't bad. Sugetsu, this is unbelievable. Still a little bit of time to play with, but can he get the better of Avova, who's now just down to the rifle at the side? Baits it on the jump on the first, and he wants at least halfway, but does Avova let it happen? This man is the clutch king for a reason. Avova, the time is now on his side, and it's perfectly played in the end by Avova, but Sugetsu made that almost a reality.
Wow. I mean, definitely winnable there in that scenario. Avova's first and second jump peak, I think, so shallow that he doesn't even catch line of sight of the spike. It almost felt like it took so long for them to deal with that wall. This set piece, though, I mean, look at the assist just ringing off. That's
Bloody
how
hell.
much utility is invested just to find entry there. But I was almost going to comment on the fact that G2 will have to address Angel's ability to lock down that area with that one-way. And actually, they've got all the tools to do it, right? Immediately, your eyes go towards some of the flashes, maybe the stun from,
Look at this.
from Meadow, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Now, look how much FPX are trying to stack behind this one-way smoke on A main initially, just to slow the early round down.
The theory's fantastic for this. Just the pure designation of what they want to achieve. You basically get a side of the map for yourself, which is huge. Like, that entire control allows artists to explore further. They're being funneled towards him. He claims Nookie's life and gets to get out with his. It's the perfect start. This is a really nice piece from FPX, and it's something we've come to expect, I feel, from them, though. This is some of that craft work they're always so strong at bringing out.
Important there for artists not to overstay his welcome. Whether or not now Zipan is going to play this safe enough here, going to be flashed off the early angle. Will force him a little deeper towards site. Does have his ultimate, so he can shut down Mixwell's tour de force here. Only a classic behind it, so it looks like they're setting up for this rolling thunder here behind the sky smokes coming in. So Zipan got to be careful here. As he comes in, no!
Oh, the intention was great, but the execution just foul to watch. The pistol enough to close the gap. And well, the spike's going to go down. The post plant should be safe. We can discuss the late game implications of that much utility invested early on, but for now, bear in mind what they had to work with this round was quite limited for FPX, but still, any further danger on this play back in, we'll have to see. A little flash and it's perfect, or at least no doubt Sugetsu.
Why is Mixwell not back on the tour de force? He's using the sheriff here.
Yeah, it's... Did he pop it? He didn't pop it?
He popped it at the start of the round. I mean, he's making it work regardless here, but I'm not sure. Artist finds a second through the box there. Hoodie will fall, but still two left to find. Avova sweeps through sand, finds the final kill for G2 to find their fourth. I'm racking my brain now. Mixwell popped the tour de force. He had it at the start of the round. It was obviously removed from the knife of Zipan when the side hit comes through.
And then he closed the gap with the pistol. That's fine.
So he gets the upgrade here onto the sheriff, but then never comes back onto the tour de force.
What? Yeah, there was a lovely little pop flash as well that kind of caught like two of the players pushing out. Like, he still does fine, but I don't know if that was I dare say it, a bug? Because that doesn't seem right to me. I don't know why you would put yourself in that position. They still get the round.
Like
but
I said, he made it work. Mixwell made it work with the Sheriff regardless.
A little bizarre, but I also do want to explore the idea of Ardis on this chamber, because we saw him having troubles before, because he was completely locking him out of the game. I'm trying to roll my mind back, because I know he was kind of playing a similar role to that, where he's just kind of equaling each other out to an extent. Both players just kind of focused on marking their man, which didn't allow him that freedom. But I do like the idea of Ardis on a chamber. It does kind of excite me from, the early days of, Ice Paper Hands, I guess if you want to roll it that far back. But I've always loved the prospect of Ardis kind of having an operator of sorts, be it Tour de Force or not. He's such an exciting player to me. I do want to see how he kind of fares if he does get left to leash a little bit now.
Well, so I think you're talking about Ascent, right? So yes. Ascent was where he obviously went head-to-head with Durka on the chamber.
It was Durka, yes, and they were just kind of this constant battle of just those two.
I mean, Durka lost out massively in that. We were obviously talking about the comfort levels for him on Fracture. Ardis was obviously running the Breach last time, which, again, where they tried to set up a couple of pieces around the Euro looked great, but I don't think, as a collective, FPX really benefited an awful lot off the Breach pick. I do feel a little bit better. Actually, seeing Xiao do well on the Fade as well on Ascent is kind of a secondary piece to that. So to bring that to Fracture as well. But I mean, initially we've already seen kind of what he's capable of very early on here. You're going to have the operator here in round 6 as well.
In my mind, when I'm watching this now, I want to see how G2 approach this utility, because we just discussed how impactful it is early on, but I do want to see late round, once that initial kind of exchange comes down, how they can hold this, because you can already see the ult's been popped. You already see that G2 has taken that space back in and haven't overcommitted much utility, but a trade out, and that's all you're going to get. Nuki unable to close the gap towards Angel, but it will be Hoodie on the trade. And you can see the ult being popped there, so just the rifles at the side for now. Hoodie gonna, just about make it to side, but that is the spike now across.
It's 20 HP, nothing FPX can do to really stop this from happening. But Zipan does have his null command in response for the retake here. You see, actually, it's popped here, so I'm going to suppress everybody here. I've overplaying very deep. Doesn't get cleared, though. Finds Zipan Ants to get to.
Doubling down on this. It's all down to pretty much Ardis.
Last player standing.
He did quite nicely before. He made it competitive for sure, and he wants to maybe an attempt. But that's about all he's going to get. Maybe the operator is a little bit more essential to the game plan. An attempt at the round for now. As the post plant, considering if Over's got that ult, it just kind of nullifies chance of it at this point. So probably the right call for Ardis. Maybe going to catch a couple of exits at best. At absolute best, but they're not even going to be near that. So for now, I'm going to keep the operator. Another round for G2. So let's kind of... I do want to talk about early exchange of utility and how it kind of works out, because it seems though G2 had a round where they got a little flustered by that utility play, right? That little piece that has been set in motion. You saw the wall getting invested behind it as well by FPX now. But again, where's the next layer to it? Where's the next bite to it?
I want to come back to this one-way intention on A main. It's so difficult to actually hold that. Like I said, immediately you look towards Meadow, Hoodie, and Nuki to kind of counter FPX's ability to just sit behind that and really slow down the early rounds. And there's a couple of times, I mean, on the previous was that's to get you peeking through door, where it's just a smoke, right? There's nothing really that they can do to counter any of G2's utilities, actually force them away from that one-way smoke. So in terms of, I guess, early intention and investment in utility, G2 winning out massively on that front.
FPX, right place. Let's see if it's the right time. Zipan. Capitalize on the attention being drawn towards the likes of Angel. Swings from tower. Gonna claim Hoodie. 1 minute to play with. And Ardis does need to be, I feel, integral to this. Unless Xiao gets away with a dirty little angle on this. That's not bad at all, but no chance to really swing off the back of it. And Meadow held back for now. G2 still trying to funnel their way forward here.
The problem being, it is just the pistols to work very well. Xiao with a bucky here, almost trying to get baited in. Meadow going to eat a ton of damage, though, from Angel. Fault line will force him off. Orbital strike actually going to set up Mixwell, but look at that. Sugetsu finds the headshot. What?
Mixwell's going to be kicking himself, and Meadow was the one who was tagged up. He's down to 3 HP. It ain't going to happen. FPX on the 4-1 stack, leaving Ardis all on his lonesome to hold that A site, hold that push-up, which he did perfectly fine, and the rest absolutely locking it down off that beautiful swing at the start, and Mixwell just being bodied by that shot. I mean, a chance at it for a second, one miss, and you're dead.
Sugetsu absolutely punishes him for missing that one. A great round from FPX. G2 almost, I don't say they've been given a massive indicator of the stack, but it certainly felt more presence than maybe they were bargaining for there. Whether or not there was the opportunity to kind of catch that rotation, but will find themselves now on a couple of Sheriffs and a Vandal to work with in the hands of Mixwell. Artist posted up now. We'll spot the jump beat from Nookie.
Forward a little bit. I like this. I really like that from Artist.
Actually walks into the second TP range there. So forced off the early angle, but dips back in to find that.
It's beautiful work. There's not much subtlety to this, but he has to accept that angle will be held for now and slowed down. Again, the tempering of the pace is wonderful. Artist still given a moment. The smoke gonna, again, slow down G2's roll. Artist sticking around long enough here, but you can see Nookie's already slipped the gap. But Zipan's got his side, so unable to really fold towards it. Hoodie's still going to make the most of it. Artist, Zipan punished that rifle working out for Hoodie, and one more recovered for Meadow. Angel stands, and Shao finds Meadow, though. That moment of hope gets taken away as soon as they cross towards the site, unable to find a spike plant, and now a clean pickup on the last. So 3 still remain for FPX, and a vital turn of a couple of rounds here, making the most of maybe that broken economy of G2, but still competitive rounds coming out regardless.
So see how, I mean, FPX actually do have the advantage in terms of this ult cycles, or Zipan almost back on that no command as well. But I love this from, it's like I said, just walking. You can see there on the replay, he catches that pick and walks forward to get back into that TP range. Happy to double dip and make use of that TP that was placed off the rip. Now, whether or not this is going to act as a deterrent, really, to force G2 away from A main a little bit, if FPX can continue to show this presence, which they do. We can see on the minimap, the one-way goes out. Xiao looks to follow through. Retrieve the orb as well. So Zipan comes back with the null command. So big win for FPX early on in this round. G2 haven't really made any progress towards either side, other than, actually, yeah, just catching Nookie drifting towards drop.
And Nookie may be looking for ways to deal with that early presence towards A main. Maybe this is, you know, an option. See if they can potentially get a punish off it. But for now, holding. Again, we've seen what FPX like to do early round. We've seen the G2 also are quite diligent at countering it.
As I say, didn't act as much of a deterrent to G2 because they've stacked back over here. There's 2 towards Dish, and Zipan might catch a lot of information here with his knife.
I want to see the punish on Nookie if he swings it.
As good as everyone noted here with the knife, and obviously the ultimate being popped on the other side of things.
Now what did G2 do with this? I want to see the impact from this potential drop down. There it is. Nookie's just in. He's just gone for it. No one able to trade off the back. There it is. Mixwell does. Pushes his way through onto main, but they're losing numbers. They've not won the trades at all, turning the flash, but not quickly enough. Mixwell, perfect follow-up. This guy's spacing has been good so far. Artist still in this round. And Mixwell can only do so much. That was 3 big frags, but outside of him, no one finding impact.
Perfect timing from Zipan as well. On the back of the knife, the confirmation of 3 members of G2 towards A main. Pops the no command, and actually pretty much guaranteed information on the other side, right? The no command trading off with Hoodie. The really, really great. It creates a stalemate where nobody's willing to move, and it's actually Nookie that, again, on a little bit of a wild drop out, punished for that one. Like you said, it's difficult for anybody to find that trade. Yeah. That's the first kind of piece of the puzzle there falling. FPX actually closed the gap now, only 1 round separating them. G2 back down to Sheriffs. Like I said, this ult cycle wasn't in their favor. Mixwell 1 away from the tour de force, so they can make an early play for the orb, maybe towards B main. FPX sit him pretty comfortably now. I mean, you look at some of these buffers, 6,200, 4,300. To get to an Angel sitting pretty as well.
No, this has been quite the adaptation from FPX. Bearing in mind, it did feel as though G2 did kind of garner the reins for a little while, right? It did feel as though it kind of flipped into their hands after they'd worked out that little A main piece. They started to get that momentum back in their favor, working exactly as they needed, but you're on the money. This has been a gap closer and a half. 4-5 now. G2, what's that next step now? How do you find that way back in? And well, this round it's not going to be an option, really. I mean, they can make it competitive, I'm sure. Chico coming out. But that's about all she wrote. And once again, similar scenes. Not going to go quite deep enough, but again, G2 not particularly bothered by showing their hand, and Zipan caught in no man's land.
Look at the assists again, Lauren.
4 of them behind this. And Shao now knows. Oh, Angel, what are you
Angel?
up to? Angel?
What?
What is that? I don't get it. I don't get the intention by any means. Oh, this blind just feels the timing out, and Avova still finding time to put. He saw more than just the barrel. Artist is in danger. He knows he's now got problems on two fronts. Gonna switch out to the rifle and tries to find the pick onto Mixwell. Not gonna get it. I don't know what I just witnessed.
I don't know if that's just he's frantically trying to jump to get out of, I don't know, line of sight from drop or what, but yeah, not entirely sure about what it is that's pressuring Angel so much to be caught off guard in that position. Artist and Xiao actually do
lifesavers
so well to find that there, but Avova responds with 2 kills with the Sheriff. Makes that doable for G2. Thrifty rounds of G2, man. It's always
danger.
Always danger.
I should know that by now. I don't know why my brain goes, it's fine. It's not fine. Nuki's not fine either. This time Angel finds the timing, finds the patience for this one to play it off perfectly. The one-way still in place. Giving Zipan full free reign of this utility now behind it. And you can see who's closing in on those back lines. You can already note Artist is there. Mixwell good enough for one. Does actually expect the play. Well, he's actually got the angle to play with now. Does he expect the repeat? He does! Gorgeous work from Mixwell. Reading Artist like a book. But did you expect Sugetsu to be joining him? Let's see if that clock ticks to the right second. It doesn't. Mixwell, dead and gone. Sugetsu just getting away with a second of doubt from Mixwell.
Last round.
What a frantic round, though.
Yeah.
Again, this is actually the full commit this time from FPX to go through with the paranoia. Angel finds 2 massive kills to start the round off, but still it comes down to a 1v1. Zipan here just looking to try and find some space on the back of the fragment here.
Oh.
She catches the back
That's
away from Artist. Yeah.
I love that.
Beautiful
Man,
adjustment to
that's
find
good
that one. You two come into this though. Look. The Spectre in the hands of Meadow. Hoodie actually down on the Sheriff here. So do have the orbital strike to work with, but look what FPX have. Everything at their disposal for round 12 here. The final round of this half.
Yeah, you're not lying. They got it all. Ultimates aplenty. Money looking perfect. Purchase. Just everything. Everything is there for them. So G2 certainly have their work cut out. And the pace change already. These rounds feel like night and day. You had the quickest pace possible. Mixwell still obviously able to get himself what he needs. Flash gonna once again force him off. 50 seconds now. Where does G2 take themselves?
Yehuda making a little progress towards Arcade here. This Spike not committed yet, but it is towards A site. Sugetsu will be noted here. The back, actually, yeah, the knife confirmation will trigger the orbital strike. The fault line in response. So G2 looking to punish Sugetsu here.
Still alive, still standing for now. And the wall goes up, gives him something, a little bit of cover, a little bit of something. That was so much put towards one player, and once again he is still standing, and Angel trying to support it as well, playing from and they don't know he's here. Now they certainly do. Avova turns around and Angel couldn't be there in time to maybe make anything of that. And now with 12 seconds, you got to look towards the clock. 10 now, and Artist puts his foot down as Nuki potentially unwinnable now with only 5 seconds to play with and so many targets. FPX weather through what felt like a storm there in the end.
Well, you say FPX, Sugetsu.
Yes,
Sugetsu literally had the orbital strike, the fault line, the 0 point, then the aftershock, the molly comes through after that. Everything is invested to just find that one kill. It takes them so long to find it. Actually, FPX scramble some sort of recovery there.
So let's kind of roll it back to our. I actually didn't really ask you who you think this truly favors either, because it was more exciting to talk about what this was kind of meaning bigger picture. But 6-6 on the half, can you really extrapolate anything from this at this point,
no,
or is it just another decent game on our hands? I feel
not an awful lot, because I think Fracture sits so deep with it, well, so low down within G2's map pool traditionally. I mean, obviously bringing it out versus Focus is almost intention of addressing that. Us then revisiting that here in this week, or like I said, this is more kind of gives context to what last week meant for G2. Mixwell actually going to be played in, but just off the flash there. Nice little setup though. Hoodie will be noted off the rip, and Artist actually posts Mixwell on the TP.
Anything you could do, I can do better. But a quick trade out though. Hoodie's still going to hold his own. Takes down Artist and keeps control. He actually claims another. As if he gets away with Zipan too there. Finally put to bed by Angel, but this will facilitate only a spike plant. There's no safety beyond that. And now Sugetsu has to play an integral role in this as well, find the timing right, because the out of the two are outnumbered drastically on the site. You've got Xiao trying to do the best he can. Gonna take... Oh! Takes a second, Xiao! Making this somewhat feasible down to the 1v1. Sugetsu's position pays dividends. I don't know how they got away with that, because that felt like G2 were just about in control there.
Sure, great reposition for Sugetsu as well. The wall coming up, it would indicate that he is towards site, or at least down towards B main here, but... the fact that he gets all the way back towards arcade. I mean, Meadow seemed wise to it at least here. Although he was noted previously in the round, but Xiao goes huge to find that kill on Nookie. To get to close things out. I mean, great work to isolate Angel as well. He's kind of caught off guard with, again, so much utility. Great usage of utility from G2 to force him out of that corner after the plant. Maybe a little bit of aggression early on from G2. They want to take their own control, their own spin on this A main control early on here. And no progress any deeper. And FPX just poised right now to greet any aggression. Hey, the expectation's got to be for G2 to try and make this work, right? Hoodie will catch a glimpse of Ardis. Go for a little peek there, and actually the reveal going to be perfect.
That's
It's
quite
gonna
nice.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen that one before. We're learning on the job, but again, you have to be realistic about this buy. It's going to be mostly Mixwell who can do anything with it. With him now shut down, the likelihood is this should be solidifying FPX with at least a bit of a buffer. Now G2 can still make it a little bit dangerous for sure, but only 3 of them to try and do damage, and Nookie already tagged relatively low, so Ardis going to be on the job. Keeping an eye on Avova and Nookie, can at least facilitate the trade out. That's as best as they could have done, but Avova going to be found. 3 still stand. Want to see if they can get the rifle. They have. Zipan's claimed that. So again, FPX 3 alive, working forward with a nice little buffer now.
I saw set piece, and we saw Xiao kind of this sort of utility on that fade on Ascent in particular towards A site. A nice little piece there. Just to find the reveal over the top and make it really difficult for Hoodie to reposition after he is spotted initially. G2 now, I mean, good progress early on from Nookie, whether or not that's just been on the back of that A main control they're able to garner. But this time, positioned more so towards B site, or at least in spawn. FPX, it looks as if we've got a little set piece towards A this time around. The reveal I expect going towards
right here,
sand, or maybe towards ropes.
Okay, so
Yeah, towards sand, yep.
it's quite nice. I quite like seeing a little bit of innovation now with Fade, seeing a little bit more depth to it as well, seeing what people are up to. Ash comes in and Nookie, gets away with this for a little bit. I wonder if he's going to make much of that. It's going to at least slow down FPX at the very least, maybe give Avova a chance, but again...
Well, Avova's got to be spotted there, surely.
It has to be. But was anyone in the right position to do so?
What?
I don't think they were. No one able to note it at this time. And it's hardest to punish Avova, and they know where Mixwell is. And the timing, it couldn't have been worse for him. Xiao with a quick bit. What?
Whoa.
Xiao, come on, man. That's just filthy work. And Nookie probably pissed at this after everything they'd done.
Face your fear!
And Nookie now. It's all been noted, all been seen. And so much to worry about. That post-bomb was just not going his way, was it, after that got popped?
Beautiful round from FPX. Again, Nookie actually denies the wall by standing in the way of it, creates a massive chunks up. I don't think confirmation on the back of that with the dark cover popping on ropes. I'm not entirely sure, but still at least noted that. A great site, I mean, the site hold was great from G2, and conversely, FPX still follow through on there. You see Angel kind of caught out in no man's land when that smoke does eventually drop on spawn, but they recover fantastically.
9-6. Money looking rough for G2. This could be double digits beckoning for FPX.
They are so dead.
This would need one of those G2 moments to really kick into effect. Maybe Mixwell can be the man to make it happen, but already Angel seems to be on the case. Could be a fight and a half on this. Mixwell making the most of that tour de force.
Up close here. I mean, Angel on the other side of things, whether or not he goes exploring is the solo mission right now, but Ardis going to give him a little bit of backup. Is the timing favorable for him? Mixwell actually holding towards the left, so opportunity here for them to swing close from underpass. Nobody actually holding this angle from tower, so the triple swing could favor them. It also could be a disaster if Mixwell can readjust.
Finding some margins. Zipan! Nasty with it, quickly up towards tower. They're going to try and fill that void with Hoodie, but Hoodie gets caught off as well. FPX springboard so quickly off the back of that initial pick. And now, sadly, these Sheriffs just looking unlikely to do the damage as FPX get a stranglehold on this round.
FPX got so much control and it's so deep into here. They're able to anticipate this flank coming through. Hardest, though, caught off guard with that. Nuki, a little bit of an overheat there, popping the ult, but Angel will find his third. 4 survive from FPX, a bigger buffer now, or cushion, I should say, on the already flowing economy, we should say. Around 17 here. This is, I mean, effectively 1 round away. You're looking at where the next is going to sit. FPX, they win this one out. It's going to be pretty easy to find themselves on map point with G2 not really having a look in the second half.
And I think this compositions look quite nice with them, honestly. Maybe I don't think this has helped me really put context on FPX on this map necessarily, because now we've seen 2 very different looks. I like what Xiao's bringing already. And for G2, again, I guess it's wait for the rest of the season to unravel really where they sit. But as it stands, FPX getting what they need to start this off with.
This posted up towards Arcade, and FPX will drift slowly back in that direction. See already, Angel and Sugetsu made a little bit of progress towards underpass, so the pinch comes through. Only Hoodie, though, that's going to have an opportunity to get ahead of the curve here if FPX commit to this, which is looking more and more likely with 50 seconds left on the clock and the spike making its way here now. Nuki kind of eliminated from this unless he catches something on the cross, if there's a gap in a smoke or something. This is all on Hoodie.
Yeah, Hoodie on an island. Nuki can maybe watch a little bit of the push-up, but it's so deep that at that point, Nuki might be just dead and gone.
30 seconds left.
Oh, let's see how much he can do. That's a terrible time for Angel to be noted. And now Hoodie's going to find Zipan. It's all worked out so well for them. Fortuitous timing on that smoke to dissipate. And it leaves 3 remaining for FPX. Hoodie going to pop the ult as well and just nullify Artist in this one. Nuki makes the most of it, finding Xiao. And the shutdown not going to quite be as clean as they'd like. With 6 seconds, though, what more can you do? Mixwell going to catch the cross. It's done. Time has been found. It's been bought. And well, almost got the punish on it, Mixwell. What are we doing? Don't repeat it. You want to keep your guns. As you can see, FPX still going to do some damage, but the timing on that smoke dropping and Nuki just instantly getting the pick, alleviating a little pressure off of someone like Hoodie to be at least able to stay alive in towards tower.
Which is strange. They must have their checklist in place for a set piece like this to know when that smoke is going to drop, right? You still have the advantage ahead of the spike being planted. You still have that advantage of the in-game clock, right? So they must know when that sight line is opened up for Nuki. So a little surprising to see that, especially after Hoodie's actually noted. He's suppressed. So they have confirmation that it's only 1 in tower, right? So a little strange to see that.
Ooh. Keeping your life for now, but Mixwell's not necessarily backing away from this completely. FPX looking for the fight, and last time, that swing we saw it, right? Punished drastically by Zipan. Gets just a pixel noted. Angel copping a bit of damage on that, but himself still alive, and there's the swing from Hoodie. Notes him. Suppressed once again. Now has vision limited. So much put towards him. Flash comes in. Hoodie's still alive though. Comes out of the flash but doesn't win the fight. Doesn't get a chance on it. FPX closing the gap in a different way this time. But Nuki still being a danger from the same sort of angles. FPX can be kicking themselves for this one. Spike nowhere near planted here. Left to its own devices.
Mixwell adds another to the list. Nuki will find another, and actually the kill onto Zipan. You're fired up, actually doing loads of damage from that position. Just Sugetsu left the 1v3 now, trying to isolate this 1 kill. But Meadow stands strong. FPX have to adjust this set piece here. Nuki is continuing to find value from that position. the smoke, just not enough security behind it, whether or not the sage wall is the answer or dig a little deeper, maybe aggress towards the spawn, but
gotta do something.
yeah, FPX kind of getting exposed here.
Oof. Don't get me wrong, Nookie is sharp as all hell, but
I mean, yeah, give him a headshot
give him a
angle.
chance.
He's gonna punish you.
He's good for it. He's absolutely good for it. And that's closed this game back to somewhere that actually G2 could maybe do a little bit more. But it has been mostly the Nookie show. Those early rounds haven't been really working out for Mixwell. Hoodie got shut down that time. So again, Nookie being essential to these couple of rounds, they've been able to claw back on FPX here. So FPX maybe addressing a couple of other options, looking elsewhere, as that B site has proven to be a problem.
That's the nod of approval from Zipan. They head back across the zip line after dealing with the trap. Actually going to post up Ardis here to maybe create a little diversion. See the set piece once again. With Xiao going to try and reveal towards Sand. Actually, Mixwell smoked off the angle now, so that should free up Ardis a little bit on this execution.
See if he finds impact through it. An Angel going to be sent back for now, but information somewhat retrieved. Over how much can you get away with here? He actually got away with a lot before, and with this ult, look at the time, 30 seconds, he can still buy a fair amount of it. So off the back of the flash, he's going to decide to implement it, but Zipan bodies him. 25 seconds, they've got to go now. They've got to make the most of this now, but Meadow back on the case, wall goes up, he can't actually get vision, but he still decides to swing, and FPX going to claim 2 off the back of it. Just game back on, the spikes on the site, and maybe then get the plant, but 14 seconds. Angel has the push out from Nookie this time. Nothing to stop that plant now. And it's all on Hoodie.
The fragment actually missed as well.
That's unfortunate for him. And a hard couple of angles to clear, quite complimentary for FPX, but he's been given a little bit of room. And finally is free from being marked.
Catch through position, but Angel already privy to it. The door audio cue will confirm it, swings through and finds it. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately not to really find any damage or potentially the kill actually on the spike plant there with the fragment. Just a little pocket created. I mean, almost makes it doable there with obviously one positioned towards drop. I mean, there's an opportunity for him to isolate at least one of those 1v1s following the plant, but FPX follow through. It will convert that round, and looking at it, I mean, Hoodie's going to be struggling. Mixwell
2.3,
yeah, Mixwell 3800, so light armor and a rifle attainable at least. Nookie's ultimate available. Looks the Rolling Thunder and the Orbital Strike, but it actually only equates to a 1v1 trade for G2, and that's a huge investment just to slow down that hit.
I think it's a bit of a stark reminder that, don't get me wrong, we've seen some really quite impactful moments from Nookie. But up until that point, where, you know, the smoke timing felt a little bit weird and, you know, it was a little bit out of sorts, this has looked quite good for FPX. So a little bit of a reminder for G2, they do need to address a couple of other things now, maybe try and work this out. Maybe that's what the timeout's for now. Maybe, I don't know how you're going to get a grip on this game, because as I said, those 2 back-to-back rounds coming in for G2 were highly impactful from Nookie, but everyone else up until that point had been struggling to deal with FPX.
A gift.
What's next up? Because this almost feels like the last stand here for G2. Not an awful lot of ultimates going to be available in the next, and Nookie's the one that we haven't seen as much impact this time around than we did versus Focus, but Mixwell noted with that push deeper into A main, and I think that's actually the green light
the pace
for FPX to dial up the pressure towards B.
Well, let's see what Nookie can do at this point once again. You can see 2 of them now stacked towards it. Overs there as well.
Much quicker with the plant. Yeah, much
I
quicker.
much prefer that. It seems like there was a quick note as to what they needed to do to be able to at least readdress this B site, but this time they don't get to pinch towards Hoodie, for example, so they lose out on another side of things. So into the post plant they go with a player disadvantage, but at least they get the time on their side. So G2 have options here, but look how deep FPX are holding this.
Xiao actually comes down on top of that. The ultimate will go through. That's it. Still, G2 coming out on top of this. Ooh, Suketsu nearly comes through, finds all 3, but it's Hoodie to close things out. Plenty of time left for the defuse, and another fumbled round from FPX. Yes, I love the adjustment on the way in, but
The timing was great for the plant, at least, right? Like, you could see the adjustment towards that, but what did you make of the post plant?
it definitely wasn't comfortable. I mean, it starts really with Hoodie winning out with that judge still being a nuisance from tower. Angel, I don't know if he's completely solo there, or if there was another piece of utility to try and enable him, give him a favorable engagement, but this time around, we didn't have the confirmation from the knife. That was sent towards A main there, so yeah, the fact that it looked like it was just Angel on a solo mission there is the demise of FPX. And with the plant being safe towards main, yes, it feels uncomfortable, but there's no Sage Wall for G2. You can kind of play a little more comfortably, deeper away from sight. So a little surprised to see that. That felt like FPX's 12th, or at least it should have been.
I'm with you on that. 11-9 now. Clawing at this game, G2. Finding a couple of opportunities. Making the most of them. So I guess credit to them in that regard. And there's the first fight found, though. Mixwell caught off guard completely. Yeah. Artis happy to take this space. Now, still 2 players over towards this side of the map, though, so it's not going to be completely free, but how much impact can they really have here? FPX didn't have to invest a great deal behind that initial pick either, so they've got plenty left in the kitty to play with. Now the cross going to be watched. Meadow gets a spam towards Xiao. Gets to keep his life.
Surprisingly enough, yeah. Xiao caught with his pants down a little bit here. Very safe plant once again, so eyes go towards FPX's post-plant hold here. G2 don't have a massive amount of tools on the way back in. Meadow with lots of utility. Actually, sorry, Hoodie still with pretty much full utility as well. So see what they can make happen here.
I'll do something. Time to go for it. Nuki to try and close in, at least clear out the site for now. No one there still. You can see the post plants seeing a little deeper, but the time's starting to tick, and there's a time limit on what G2 can do, especially if Angel and Artis going to create the crossfire, but now just down to Meadow. Anything left for him to do here? It looks like the time has pretty much slipped away from him at this point. He has to back away. He could no longer take that fight. And FPX finally get that 12 from the board. G2 unable to deny it this time. It got a little dicey towards the end, but again, that initial pick just allowed so much access.
So I looked at that for a moment there. I saw Nuki, I think it was Nuki and over with nothing left, and then Meadow and Hoodie with full utility there, obviously making their way over from a little further afield. And lots invested in for minimal return. I gotta say, Hoodie, again, coming through, trying to make use of that judge, but he has to close the distance in order to make that work. FPX this time around make use of that safer plant. A much deeper hold, and it results in them finding map point here. G2 scraped together. I mean, barely call it a
bargain,
barely call it a purchase.
It's not the dream. It's got, you know, they've been searching around in the pockets, bit of pocket link coming out.
That's a G2 full buy by any standards.
Statistically, you're absolutely right, Mike. So let's once again expect this round to go their way, as you know you should. Angel doesn't like those odds. Fancy's changing the narrative. So 2 integral picks at the start of the round, so going to deny Nuki any step towards finding maybe a little bit of map control, maybe going walkabouts, not going to be. Mixwell tamed once again at the start of the round here, leaving 5 standing for FPX and still plenty of time, at least by their clock, to work with.
This is years in FPX time. 50 seconds left.
They age differently.
They're working in dog years.
Well, again, Navova has a chance here, but the flash is gorgeous. He has no idea. Completely blind. And Zipan, he's still good for one. Still going to catch Meadow. Of course, Navova eventually will find him by that point. But still being held back by the smoke. Forced to respect this. 28 seconds. And there's the other drop going to come in. And while they're back on the side of Navova, where's Hoodie? Yeah, he's back on his feet. Bloody hell, no punish for it. And there's the support system. Well, he's gone. And FPX shut down G2. It's 13-9, and there was a little bit of life.
Interesting to note on G2 side as well. Meadow, you can quote me on this if you want. I don't think has ever played Sova in an official game.
Okay, so a couple of things to look at. This is a big switch up for him, yeah. Well, you noted pace, Mike. Funny enough, they're already on the A site. It's crazy that sometimes
one person.
One of them made it, but it's okay. The trade came out, and Nuki didn't get away with any of that Nuki business, so it's all good.
To get too stuck.
Right. Well, that's a little unfortunate. maybe, look, Mike, maybe it's fully intended. All right, you just don't understand pro players. You need to work on that, actually. Spike is down, and you're right. Sugetsu is
Dead.
just frozen.
Yeah, no,
he
still
tried
stuck.
to get out.
Still stuck.
Have a little go. Too thick to quit it. And look at this man, just, oof. There we go, dealt with. Taken away from his icy prison, and as our FPX from this round. A nice intention, but they just got absolutely battered.
They did. I mean, immediately there was so much utility set towards site, and then it's like, this dashes on. He doesn't actually sit inside his smoke for long enough, but I don't know if that was because he was anticipating some follow through from main, but yeah, a little half-assed, if I'm honest, on the way in. The set piece was beautiful. Nuki was actually forced pretty deep into tree. There was nobody even there to pressure from site. So a little strange to see whether or not Artist has misplaced the smoke and he wanted to get to Gen there, or there's something else that's happened that I certainly didn't note. But you look back and you see on the X-ray, everybody from FPX still tucked out of line of sight. I mean, Angel even drifting towards Wine. But we might even just try it again off the rip.
There we go. Let's get that timing right a little, if we can. Not now, though.
No.
Right. Well, we go back. Now, I do have to ask you a question. I said the word battered, and I started thinking about battered sausage. Were you more a Savoy man, or where did you sit? You're a Savoy.
Oi.
A classic.
Yeah.
A classic.
Yeah.
Would you go, what's the accompanying dish normally?
Beans.
Beans?
Yeah, Savoy and beans.
I never went for a bean.
Words I never thought I'd hear on a broadcast.
Yeah, you know what? You know what?
It's an FPX round. It's going to slow down. It's going to slow down now.
They tried to go quick, and look what happened. KO got brought out. So
back in the traditional comfort zone for FPX now.
The 20-second side hits.
Artist, actually, I didn't even note that. Does have a Spectre to work with here. I didn't even notice that as well. Zipper and the Shao actually had the full force coming through with the Sheriffs. Angel actually saving across 1,000 credits. So that's the reason we've seen this slow down. But 30 seconds left.
30 seconds
Angel going to
left.
try and find some space here on towards short.
And the 20-second hits come in. Look at this. FPX in prime form. And it's working. Of course it's working. Why wouldn't it? It's FPX showing their true colors. And the spike's down. They've got a 5v3 post plant. They've got a little Vandal. Who was it who had it? I think it was Hoodie who had that. So that's a lovely little freebie. Take that every day of the week. Like beans with Savoy. And the Flash. Mixwell looking absolutely cooked here.
Somehow didn't die though. So
I don't know how he's alive.
And G2 are going to opt to save 3 Spectres. So whether or not they can muster together anything, well, if they can muster together an FPX purchase in the next round.
And to be fair, the one thing I will say though, right? Like let's kind of like are we gonna Sugetsu gonna look for a couple of exits? Anyway, the one thing I do want to expand on though is if you are playing FPX, right, you do have to now potentially, if they are running this kind of like fade jet looking comp, the ability, well, he's not going to get much now, is he, Sugetsu?
Well,
there is the ability to switch gear here, though, Mike.
There is, and I'd love to get a better look at exactly what's been. We saw it a couple of times versus Fnatic, where the observers actually caught where the horn was invested. Like I said, I was noting actually Zipan's tendency to want to flash for that utility, just to make sure that they can guarantee it's going to reveal something, or reveal that there is nothing close. Not revealing any close contact setup from G2. So I'd love to be able to have a look at that. It's going to be another set piece here towards B. See how this one works out again.
Such cuties. And Artist. Yeah, lovely. Actually works out really nicely behind that, Mike. I'm glad you've highlighted that. You can see the combination, really, the Fury crafting working well. Artist does get punished, but again, this has already facilitated a spike plant. They've done what they needed, and there wasn't much brought directly behind those weapons either. So, again, Sugetsu probably on for at least holding that angle for now. There are 2 players there. And the Vovas just backhanded him with a classic.
Of course he has. Mixwell moving through now. 4 shots left in the Headhunter. Everybody on FPX committed towards site, but definitely a weapon advantage here for them.
Lovely.
And actually will be noted as well.
Very nice. There's still some threat to this, but time. And we got to look for the trades. None of them came through. Shao held their own. Well played. 2 of them remain. And they still have that Vandal in hand as well. So, honestly, not a bad little start.
Good response coming back here. G2 actually, yeah. We've got light armors across the board here for them. Again, we do get a second opportunity to come to look at it. I mean, actually, the paranoia invested as well at some point throughout this. And again, it's the investment of utility behind that haunt that makes it difficult for G2 to commit to destroying it, right? They have to play these kind of ratty little spots. And I'm interested to see how many different variations we have from FPX to kind of make that work, because you don't often see that. I mean, you don't usually see the same investment around a Sova dart or a drone. I mean, occasionally you'll see, you know, a paranoia or maybe a flash to make sure the drone can kind of swing out safely. But this is actually really interesting to see is how willing they are to kind of util dump at the start and then follow through on it, because you're guaranteeing value, Lauren. That's what FPX are finding here.
But that's also quite a rarity. If we do want to expand beyond that, is it's actually quite hard to guarantee value, right? It's like his unconfirmed impact of utility is essentially the name of the game, right? Like, so again, this is quite something to watch. If FPX can kind of master this implementation, those 20-second hits now could potentially have huge implications. It's gonna be so hard to handle, but we wait and see. As for now, it's just a split up short. And yes, this is in. We have to look to the secondary line. Where is the impact behind it? For now, they've slipped towards the site. Hoodie's on his own, though. Still going to make the most of one. And now's a second. Zipan added to the chopping block. That is gorgeous work from him, considering he was left to his own devices. A trade back, though, and not much be able to be made of that beyond from G2. Have to accept the loss of Hoodie, who seemingly outstayed his welcome. But now they are into the post plant. A little bait on the TP. The 4v3 post plant.
So confirmation as well there from the trail of exactly where that second player retreated to.
All four from heaven right now. Angel, how much impact can you really have? He's decided to slip back in towards help. Probably the right choice here. Can at least spot one on the drop down. There was two to note, and G2 cleaning house. Shao, this would have to be something unthinkable. I don't think he's got really the chops for it from here. And G2 comfortable on the retake, coming back in. Hoodie worth his weight in gold.
For sure. I mean, finding two there, massive value to slow things down. G2 are able to stack up. There's a confirmation on the back of that trail, but G2 are able to stack up and play numbers effectively. Another great to see actually how deep G2 have to play here. The haunt comes through. The paranoia is sent on towards Gen, and I think would just about catch Dice. It was either sent towards Dice or it would have caught the far side of heaven, but you can see as soon as the haunt comes over the top towards Tree, it's going to reveal both Tree and towards Gen. So the paranoia is invested just to make sure that that's going to find something. Another stacked up piece. FPX do not want to slow down.
No, the pace is being picked up, but Nuki's respected this to sitting so deep, but he's actually read it so well. Not taking those close engagements that overwhelmed them last time, seeing a little bit deeper on towards Cap, but the fight gets one out this time towards CT. Artist last time got dealt with by Mixwell, this time not the case. Now a 4v2. Gonna need some of that Nuki work, not gonna get it. Sugetsu's there. Yeah, how much was he able to do when he was completely blinded and essentially a 4v1? Avova couldn't really catch the cross anymore at this point, as really... What are your expectations? Artist puts his life on the line for this, and it's the comfiest kill that he's going to get. FPX, some of these scripted hits, some of their more set pieces, right? The ones that you bring out once in a while, not necessarily your defaults or any of that sort. The pure kind of worked out to the second of timing. I mean, wonderful to watch.
We are seeing this, I would class as new look FPX, right? Ascent, traditionally a map where strength in default is one of the biggest, you know, ticks in the box.
It was
right?
a huge selling point.
Absolutely. FPX have historically looked so good at slowing the game down, drawing these rounds out, almost kind of, you know, whittling away at defenses here. They're able to show some really, really clean choreographed hits. And like I said, that util dump it's overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love the fact there's so much intention behind it, because it's very easy to see a couple of these hits where it's just, it feels like they're going through the motions without understanding the implication of what they're doing sometimes, just because it's you're doing the side hit that everyone else does. And this is innovative. It's looking great. I feel like they've really incorporated fade to an extent that works better than I've seen before. I'm
loving these little adjustments you see on the different hits as well. Like that push towards short, I think actually the adjustment on the haunt just about covers Tree. So that smoke actually on towards a little deeper to force them back towards window. I said they have no worries on the way in. And you can see actually on the back of that, FPX do not slow down whatsoever. It's absolute faith in that lineup. I said, and you don't usually see that sort of value from a Sova dart.
No,
you really
absolutely
don't.
No. And this is something that I do want to see, can G2 even adapt to? Because I haven't seen this level of implementation behind the Fade and the combination of utility with it until now. Now, obviously,
Another one.
look at this. Look how marked Meadow is. He has to instantly relent. Now, this purchase coming back in is really going to be based off of what Mixwell can achieve. In my mind, Nuki does have a rifle as well. Hoodie always seems good for one. Somehow, I don't know how he does it. A little flash for him as well. Hoodie keeps doing damage when he has no right to. Bear in mind, no right. Mixwell followed up as well, so they've gotten 3 picks this round, which is essential. Leaving it down to 2. Xiao and Angel. How are you going to work this out? Prowler invested. That's great work. Spots Mixwell doesn't quite get all of the information to try and get a spam through, but now they note the players. They know they are right at the door, and that goes slightly astray. Xiao gets the chance to have a fight. It's traded, and now a 1v1. Spotted on the stairs, and Angel is still alive. The bait on the TP. Nuki getting paranoid, but not that paranoid. It's Nuki still ice cold, but put to bed early. Angel keeps control of the round that almost spiraled out of control.
I'll come out and say it. We've seen a couple of examples. I mean, Soulcast back on Icebox, where we saw Fade have real impact. This is the best application I've seen so far. And I wasn't
100%.
sold early on with Fade. I'm actually talking to Doug a number of times, and we were watching back some of the NA games.
Sorry, you talked to Doug?
Yeah, don't know if you know who that is.
Huh,
But we're
never
talking a
heard of
number of times about how, Fade almost feels as she lacks some of this kind of self-sufficiency. This is FPX absolutely building around the value of this utility. I love the switch up of Ardis as well to kind of follow through on this. Another adjustment
Ardis
here.
is his best.
The Horn goes back towards site here. I'm not even sure actually if this time around it's marked anyone, but the Prowler sent through. Meadow,
Suppress.
he's going to be...
Again, I do want to see the tail side of this, though, because eventually G2 have to address this, right? And if they deny Ardis on the burst out, they can't make the most of that invested utility. And it's similar scenes to what you could argue we saw in Fracture of FPX having great early utility, but if G2 are able to cotton on to this and deal with it somewhat early on with potentially KO, does that then deny the springboard factor?
But I mean, for me, the big thing to note here is Hoodie's ultimate is probably the only thing that can stop some of these hits for FPX, right? Maybe the knife to an extent,
sure.
But you FPX, like I said, they have that second layer to lean back to, which is when things slow down, they're still FPX. Just remember that. They are comfortable in the late round.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if we look at the extremes of what now we're seeing out of FPX, you have that pacier piece of a... Ooh, you want to get out of there? That's a little dangerous. Angel, what are we up to?
Angel's still dancing with death there.
Okay. No, but you're right. This gives them depth and a really quick gear shift and a tempo change that not many others can achieve to the same level of diligence doing those 25-second hits. We have to see if it works out, because G2 will be at least aware of the FPX do like these. Whether or not they can handle it is the next question. Through the smoke we go. Wasn't pretty. Absolute nightmare on it. And now Meadow has to deal with them with 13 seconds. The flood's coming in and he gets overwhelmed. You can't do much about it. Ardis is going to catch this push out as well. Mixwell noted earlier on. And they found each other, but Ardis wins the fight. He's just in full battle mode, just tearing them limb from limb, and Nuki left to save. It's so you walk away from that. You're not walking into it, you know it. This is really the duality of what FPX can do. The attempt at the fast piece doesn't work out, kind of denied by the knife, right? And you said, okay, well, they re-explored middle ill, showed a bit of presence on short, doing the protocol list that you like to see, but you were so right in highlighting that they went for that, late round hit that worked out I don't think many others can do that.
No.
To sit into a 20-second hit and look comfortable.
Oh, it's where FPX made their name in EMEA, right? It's the kings of the clock historically.
I believe it's called a Navi style.
Yummy.
You love a bit of that. But I think this is something that, God, imagine if FPX can apply this throughout all the maps, right? Like, actually imagine that concept. It's going to be a big resurgence for them.
I definitely think so. And obviously with G2's adjustment here, in terms of composition, I'm not sure whether or not there's enough really to stop this sort of playstyle. I mean, early on we saw it, like I said, even from the pistol round off the rip, Nuki playing deep towards street. The giving up aim, we haven't really seen G2 contest this whatsoever. No way, the fragment over the top. Look at that set piece. That is beautiful.
I almost want to say screw this round and just talk me through how tailor-made that was, just a crunch towards tree then. That was perfect. Oh, this is just going to take space. Again, if G2 closes round, fair play to them. But that start of things is just divine work.
It's pixel perfect within that smoke as well. Actually pixel perfect. Angel throws that smoke on the door, knows that somebody's going to get a little ratty, sit inside it. But the fragment is on point. And again, Xiao's utility to bolster that.
Correct. It's where you're going to go. Can't get away from it anymore. Again, if these little pocket plays come out from FPX, the paranoia that you then have to deal with, right? It's like, well, now I can't sit here. Now I can't do this. Now I can't do that. All my other options get limited.
You talk about the conditioning factor as well. We were talking about early on where G2 were like, let's set a little deeper, you know, kind of absorb some of these hits. Other than Hoodie, maybe overstaying his welcome that round on A, but he finds 2 kills regardless. Now this is like, okay, well, now we can't play by door. So what are we doing? We commit to... Look at this.
CT, boys.
Look at this fragment.
He's melted. Melted.
Wow. Clip that one, ship it, because that
see
was
you on Reddit.
beautiful.
See you on Reddit. See you on Reddit. That's... man, that's... Okay, well, this is answer time, right? G2, I hope you got a plan. Because look at the level of adaptation that's coming out here. And this is on Hoodie to really try and temper this hit, force him into the slower rounds. But they're not really stopping. They're still committing to this, which is dangerous, but it works out. Zipbound punishes middle. And now Avova is screwed. Look at these rounds from FPX. This is perfect work from the FPX side. You do not get to see this level of adaptation often. And there's still genius work among G2. Don't get me wrong. They're still great at what they do. The firepower is there. They are great players. But the theory crafting alone from FPX is unbelievable. And Sugetsu is unleashing the punishment. Mixwell gets a second shot at life. How was he allowed to get away with this one?
A bit revealed as well, and actually Angel comes through. I mean, I've used the term death ball in the past, but this is something else from FPX.
There's method to the mayhem. There is theory behind all of it. I'm besotted with this. You know, really enamored with what they're bringing.
It's beautiful to watch. And like I said, because traditionally this isn't a look that FPX employ very often.
No, but we wanted to see the potential. You say, artists in this roster, man, if they can really utilize that, imagine they can harness that, and you put Xiao on something that can facilitate it as well. Oh my God, this is, oof. It's quite hot.
I mean, what's the response for G2? They're not showing any sorts of aggression, which traditionally we would expect on their part. I mean, we're seeing Nuki flex back onto the Raze as well. That's a consideration to make, but we haven't really seen G2 attempt to take any space towards mid, towards the other extremity. There's no flanks coming through with the lack of a traditional sentinel in FPX's composition. There is a gap there, but
massively. I mean, I was going to ask you until we saw that ridiculous crunch on towards like tree. The next kind of discussion of, okay, well, if they're doing these kind of site-centric hits, then you look at garnering mid-control, kind of, pushing out on extremities, on the other side of the maps, you have those early rotations, the usual spiel and waffle. But I guess then you look at what's happening in this round, and be it maybe because they know they're on maybe a slightly brought-up eco, but they've instantly gone for a different pace, different tempo. I
mean, is this just now kind of damage limitation, rely on what they can get done in the second half here? I'm not seeing anything from G2 in terms of being able to identify where they might be able to fight, because they're not trying anything different, right?
No,
there's a couple of adjustments on site to maybe try and counter the utility, but in terms of the bigger picture, there's not been an awful lot from G2.
Here.
Obviously, a little bit of a throwaway round here, considering how this has gone. I mean, this usually would be a round where you think, yeah, G2 might make something work with the sheriffs here, but they're tucked into sight. They're trying to bait FPX in, but the strength in numbers is just too much.
Man, and this is just like, for people who don't, or maybe didn't watch FPX and only looked at the results, well, yes, of course they did well last season, but into this, did they ever show us any look like this? This level of kind of bringing out something new, this whole new look, this whole new depth to them, this is, wow. I mean, this is something to really look at, because even as they were still fantastic, right? Like, FPX was still, they were meant to be in Iceland. They were still that good. But now imagine this is a new level that they can toy with. Something they can bring out. This is something that's... I mean, I don't think we're going to see this map much more if teams are going to be seeing this VOD.
No, absolutely not. And how much we actually see teams start to replicate this, because FPX making it look easy. I mean, with the preparation they've done, you can already see just a few adjustments, a few variations to some of these set pieces, and how many bases they're able to cover.
Yeah. And G2 hitting the panic button. It's timeout time.
Actually, I'm talking about G2's lack of adaptation.
Sure.
FPX have already shown enough variation in some of these hits where it does make it difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's not as if it's black and white. G2, they've got to switch it up, play more aggressively. FPX are showing that they have multiple variations to some of these set pieces on both sides as well. We haven't really seen FPX even show any presence towards pizza.
We are asking a ridiculous amount
rounds.
of G2. Yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, this is one where you just feel blitzed, right? Like, this is one where you're purely in the passenger seat on an FPX game who are dictating the pace completely on the attacking side. It is very hard to hit adaptations in these sort of moments. Now, let's see if anything comes of this. This is what I want to see, because it looks like somewhat of a standard hit that we've now seen FPX pull towards this B site. Pacey once again may at least deny Ardis' burst, but it's not like they haven't committed behind it. But where's the next layer to this now? What's the next step? Nothing stopped Ardis so far. A little bit of spam. That certainly does the work. Okay, that's how you shut him down, apparently. You just find the shot on him. Fair enough. Hunter's Fury is going to come out. The double stack towards Boathouse works very well this time.
Able to dig their heels in here towards B. Meadow and Hoodie still looking to get something done from the backside. Xiao now finds himself at a 1v4. Tagged up a little bit, noted. Let's actually try to swap out to the op, but no bullets left. Don't want to risk the reload here. G2 might just about find their third. Like I said, this isn't necessarily a round that you can repeat in terms of setup, in terms of expectations. Now FPX expect them to pull another ace from the sleeve almost. They want to close out round 12, and what a half it's been. It's just, I mean, G2 have got to pull out all the stops in the second half. They're coming into this now with a huge deficit. If it does close out 9-3, FPX, they've actually got to work with here. The res, Angel's got the TP. Xiao one away from his ultimate once again.
Find you.
And another attempt at this. The double stack was working well, but Ardis this time is going to at least be able to get towards the start of things. Or get
No
shot.
way Angel just stuck that, by the way. No way he just tried to stick that with the spike.
I mean, we've seen some bizarre things, but the smoke's going to work well enough for Meadow to at least allow to get one. But now look at the numbers. He's in a 3v1. I don't think his support system can quite get there from CT yet. He's trying to buy time, but time is all he's got. Nookie!
Oh, Nookie!
This is unreal! Finally, his name's in the feed. He felt missing for a moment, but still, it's a Vova to claim the round, and it's given them a buffer.
Well, yeah, a buffer, a lifeline. It's a miracle they come out with only a 4-round deficit from that half. Their last 2 rounds just digging their heels in on that B-side hold. Nookie, disgusting angle over the top there from Spawn.
They had no idea.
No.
They had no clue that was even coming out.
And traditionally, traditionally, once they get set up for that B-side post-blind, they would have that one way from Angel to cut off that exact angle. By the way, Angel sticks the TP inside the smoke on top of double box, by the way, which is...
Yeah.
borderline arrogance at this point. He's just like, yeah, I'm going for it. Let's go the TikTok omen play with the spike as well.
Do you think Angel's got TikTok?
No.
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 Probably not in the TikTok demographic.
No. You know what? By age, neither am I, but here
What
we are.
do you think Angel's For You page would look like?
That's a really good question, one of which I do not have the answer to, but...
Let us know in chat. I'm sure you guys have a lot of opinions about that.
Chat are very opinionated. Not often correct, but very opinionated.
Yes,
and
they try.
I enjoy that. I like the commitment to being wrong because that's also how I've made a career. So shout out to you guys. You could be a caster as well. However, we do, of course, get the side switch now. So we do get to see the, I guess, 2 sides to the coin for FPX. Is what does it look like now on the defensive side? How's G2's approach looking on the attack? We get to kind of delve into this one because we've just had a complete kind of, it felt like a flashbang to the face here watching FPX. Completely changing expectations, but ready, G2 taking their time as well.
Much slower approach here. I think it's almost paranoia from G2. It's like, what have FPX cooked
what
up
are they doing
for
now?
the defense, right? It was just absolute fear on their part. Meadow will clear through here with the Owl drone. Mixwell finds a kill on Ardis elsewhere. Maybe almost baiting the possibility of a fake, but now confirmation here with the steps coming through onto site. To get a comfortable spike plant. FPX has 4, going to have to attempt this retake.
Oh, the timing on the flash and the swing.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Lovely from G2, making the most of the utility they still had remaining there. And now 3 stand for FPX, a hard one to clear. And that's just not worked out. The smoke going to come in as well. The timing of investment on the utility is just perfect. Yeah, that is comfy work from G2. Really quite something on that approach.
Best possible start for them here in the second
100%.
half. FPX might throw a couple of sheriffs in the mix here. Expect Ardis to be one of them. Very, very clean take. And again, very well considered here with how that early round started. Mixwell finding a crucial pick. And a key difference already. FPX looking to kind of explore G2's setup here on the attack. With Ardis going hunting a little bit, which, like I said, I mean, people saying that I'm seeing people say G2 kind of completely flopping on the defense. Take nothing away from the FPX played that first half. Like, they absolutely dominated.
FPX played it well.
It wasn't,
like, hey, Mike, we're normally the negative ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's usually my job.
Hey, guys, don't take Mike's job, all right? He's being positive for a change. Yeah? Jeez. Chico out and about, though. And G2 coming in with, it looks like, caution, diligence, being quite meticulous in this approach, aren't they? There's no rush for this one.
FPX this time a little happier to at least greet them at the front or to get through with that timing. Actually still finds the adjustment. Mixwell losing that one out. Angel will find a second on the back of it. The results to a 2 for 2. Zipan the next one here.
That's
Ooh, okay, nearly actually finds damage onto both, but it's only the tag onto Avova to write home about.
30 seconds left.
I saw a world where that just went absolutely Pete on, but it hasn't. There's another reference 2 people are going to get. But now Ardis and Shao. Let's see what you got. Meadow first challenger.
Again, at this point, I mean,
none of it,
yeah, damage doesn't even really need an awful lot here with the spike plant coming through. Obviously, G2 are going to have a little bit of a buffer here. It would be a bonus, if anything, but just damage. The smoke actually making sure that... Oh, okay, Ardis wants to try and absolutely make that work with the dash, but as I said, G2 will escape. 3 Spectres saved across.
Yeah. Someone just said Angel still has Bebo.
Nice, I see. Yeah.
Good work. I shouldn't let
Came
on
first,
that.
Bebo or MySpace?
I don't know. I don't think I ever had a Bebo page.
I never had MySpace. I never had Bebo. I was always MySpace. MySpace must have been like 2005, right?
Something like that, yeah. Maybe 2004?
Just revealed my age. So anyway, round 15. G2.
I think they know we're old, Mike.
Actually,
I don't think there's any illusion that we are. Trust me, guys, we're one of you. I swear.
FPX here actually with the rifles looking to swing through on A main, at least force G2 off those early angles, but kind of slower tempered approach from G2 will continue. 4 stacked towards top mid right now. It's only Mixwell that's gone hunting. Might even just have been spotted yet. Has to TP away. A trade-off for damage that Ardis actually comes out on top of.
And I think this is where we're going to see the capability of this agent composition on the defensive side, at least to what FPX can achieve here. Because, I mean, we've already seen how much they've been able to kind of polish the approach on the attack, right? So we get to see the other side of things here. As G2 look very composed. We're already going to take a little bit of that A main control. Angel, how long are you going to try and hold this one? Already you're going to lose control towards Tree. That was... They just got folded like a lawn chair.
There's nobody there holding Tree at all.
No, I think we saw... Who was it who backed towards site? Like, someone started to, like, backpedal away towards site and they just got done in. Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. Now, Shao's still doing fine to at least make 2, so this round seems a bit more feasible, but it's really not at this point. The post plant's solid as a rock. Xiao would have so many obstacles to overcome. And yeah, I mean, poor old Angel got left on an island.
Yeah, and the reason I highlight that is it's obviously once that gap is created, hold that thought. Xiao finds a beautiful shot onto Nuki. 2 left to find, but tucked in a little deeper. Mixwell the one to find it. 2 to 5 from G2 and already right back in this now. FPX going to be on a lesser purchase. But yeah, just notice as soon as that gap's created, that's why it's a little weird to see Angel committed to such a one and done spot, right? Playing close contact on bricks. I'm not saying necessarily it's a guarantee that he finds something from anywhere else, but it certainly at least spreads the risk a little better.
And at this point, I think we have to once again we have to address the potential of, is this G2 bringing a really good attacking side? Is this FPX looking a little lacking here as well? I do kind of think that's a little bit of both for once. The FPX look nowhere near as potent as they did in the first half. However, G2 looking very composed after what was probably quite a taxing first half.
Yeah, definitely. I think initially here the approach is very, very clear. I mean, even from the get-go on the pistol round, right? They were almost anticipating FPX had cooked up a few set pieces, to kind of garner this early control. And traditionally, we'd expect G2 to be the ones, the aggressors in that scenario, right? So in terms of what we didn't see in the first half, this is already a great adjustment from G2. The concern kind of continues, though, because they haven't learned if there is anything FPX want to pull out. Not necessarily if I don't feel as if they have a great picture painted of any of the different defensive setups from FPX. And actually then you sprinkle some of this utility magic that we've seen in the first half on top of it. G2 then have a completely new set of obstacles to explore.
Well, G2 doing exactly as prescribed to close in the scoreline. One more round and you're all even. By all means, it has looked like it's exactly working towards that. It's time Sugetsu, the one to deal with what is going to be 4 players from G2. We've already seen Mixwell splitting up Cat. No challenge yet. First real point of contact shown, and the wall goes up.
Yeah, good time for Sugetsu. Waits for the knife to actually come through there to throw the wall up. Create himself a little pocket, but I'm not sure if it's actually removed there. But he still finds a kill. Sugetsu drops Hoodie.
Okay. And they're actually going to invest the ult to try and just purely clear this angle, and it's worked well enough to allow Avova to get the kill. Angel, though. Hold up. And Mixwell, you wouldn't
30 seconds.
Surely
just
not,
punish him like this. You wouldn't do that, would you? The poor sweet Angel. Zipan's still good for it by Dice, and G2 are just kind of being held back. This has been wishy-washy at best, and you can see the rifle has been found by Otis.
Yeah, Nuki's down to 5 HP as well, and he's going to be the first to come through. Actually, Meadow follows through. Somehow, Nuki doesn't fall in that engagement. I was saying, G2 almost have to stay here to police the weapons, and because of the clock, they're almost committed to this now. Xiao comes through with the judge. We'll be able to find, easy kill onto Nuki.
Classic.
Surely not, right? Surely not, right?
Mike, oh my god, I thought it was going to happen. I got a little worried.
Surely not, right?
Surely.
Yeah.
It's fine. 8-8, guys. We're all even.
There's a moment there where I'm almost like praying for the overheat. Like, Xiao, you got your ult now. Pop it. Go for it. Send a Prowler down. Yep. Just full send.
Full send. Look at this. And as if the classic does this.
Yeah, so how is he actually winning this, though? Can we...
That's not... Like, I know he didn't win the round, but even that fight on Meadow, how's he done that?
Meadow's lagging. He's got to be lagging.
It's probably ping.
Tech timeout.
Pause chat. Oh, God. 8-8 now. G2, I mean, they haven't dropped the ball once. Right? They've had a couple of close rounds.
This has been clinical on the attack. It's a almost total flip, and like I said, it was a miracle for the first half to even end out 8-4, to be honest with you. G2 showing real resilience in the last 2 rounds to close them out, but they built upon that now with a flawless start here in the second half.
This has been very impressive, especially after that first half when you've been challenged in such a unorthodox way to be able to bring this back in this fashion. Super diligent work. God, I don't know what the hell I just said. Super diligent work. There we go. I can enunciate, I promise. Haven't casted in like a week, alright, Mike, relax. I'm still waiting to see what the level of adaptation is here. G2 going for a late round hit and a readdress towards the B site?
Oh, this is tucked in though.
Nookie just fully flies in. Xiao's already been found. G2 looking solid as a rock. He has to get still on the battle, but it's going to be effective trades coming out. Poor old Zipan. Too many targets, too many players, and G2 large and in charge, taking control of the game now. This has been a really quite impressive turnaround. This is what, 5 on the trot now?
5 on the trot for G2. FPX back down on a scrappy purchase, and I mean, here we're not really seeing the same level of control from FPX. I gotta say, you can see just how evident the prep was for that attack in half. We're not necessarily seeing the same thing here. G2, I don't think they're doing anything particularly special, but they're absolutely succeeding in terms of slowing the game down, and certainly winning out in terms of where they're able to create these pressure points and then pivot upon that. FPX, you sort of left with a similar question, right, that we have for G2, is when do they start exploring the map? Because
I mean,
G2 a few times, they're playing slow, but they're stacked up as like 4,
4-1,
right? So
maybe Mixwell lingering in mid. That's kind of
not as if it's kind of like a slow traditional default. There is space to be found.
Yep, 100%. I don't know. I imagine there'll be a timeout after this round, maybe for FPX to maybe discuss some of these ideas. Because at the moment, unless they've already come up with it during this moment, this time here, they're having a bit of a brawl out. And G2 kind of getting caught. Hey, it's funny, they've explored mid, they've gone aggressive, and it's kind of worked a fair amount here. And Nookie is down to 11 HP. Xiao's still toying with him. 4 players here, though. He's not alone now. Got Mixwell by his side, who's on, 5 HP. But luckily for them, Avova sitting pretty. Gonna get the spike planted. But the HP is disastrous. A wayward bullet would deal with potentially both of them at this point.
Yeah.
This is really that smoke keeping them at bay. Oh, easy work for Zipan. Nookie shows his hand, and now one to deal with at the back of the bow house. Gonna be Avova, no clutch this time. FPX. They go exploring the middle. They get a little aggressive on the other sides of the map. And well, it works out for them.
That's the one they flip, which is crazy. Again, you don't really come away with that with an awful lot in terms of tangible information to work upon now. Whether or not we do see FPX decide to explore again, well, no, G2 now will leave a gap for it, leave an opportunity for it. I mean, they built up a huge buffer to take a look at exactly how this ultimate cycle sits. Potential for a little overinvest there, I'd argue, with the null command being popped, but to secure that thrifty round to tie things up,
yeah,
it's a lifeline for FPX, so you can sort of create an allowance for that. I gotta say, the second half gotta come online here. Didn't really need to rely on him too much in terms of numbers in the first half, but certainly here, operator coming online, that could be the catalyst.
Nookie's just gonna send a wayward ult, and Sugetsu's just trying to buy time. Actually gets up on the wall, has a little bit of a look towards it. He's got to be careful now. Dangerous territory, little underhand. Zipan gonna try and get himself into it. Oh! And Nookie's just stuck around. Huge punish, and Nookie's just taking fights.
Watching here.
You have the res, but it's certainly not safe with where that death marker is.
No.
Obviously, the wall being invested as well. That should lean towards G2 committing to end up here on B. They want to stop this res from happening. Angel's got himself stuck in front of the wall now.
Oh, God. Right. Well, this round, just absolute...
Player standing.
It's in the bin.
Yeah. This was really sloppy from FPX.
And after such a beautifully constructed
30 seconds
first
left.
half, you see just like the weirdest rounds.
Like I said there, as soon as that comes through, the wall's invested. G2 know that they have an opportunity to punish that res.
Spike planted.
Then Angel slips in front of the wall. I guess he's about 10 seconds away from that happening. Sorry, 10 seconds away from that wall dropping, sorry. But just very, very strange.
How polarizing can one half be, it feels like. You've got G2 looking like really good, to be fair. Like, if you talk about their control, the way they're tempering these rounds, where they've been approaching it, but I feel like FPX, excluding that one kind of sheriffy upgraded eco, that's really been them testing the waters here. You saw a bit of a stack towards A in the previous round that they instantly dismantled off the back of the amount of contact that came through towards Sugetsu, but I'm not in love with what FPX are doing. You know, it's a little surprising here. But G2, I mean, they brought the favor to their side. They're at 10-9 now. Ardis, knives out and about. And a slightly slowed, but once again, similar scene that we've been pretty much noting the entire way through here. An all-in piece.
You're clearing out some of these close angles here. Luki will be not that bad with the decay, but no damage to follow through on that. Like I said, yeah, this is where we look towards FPX to take some space elsewhere. They should feel a lot of this pressure from B main, but rotation comes through. Ardis and Sugetsu both going to head towards spawn to find this rotation.
Okay, Shao, stand and deliver. That's all you can do. And FPX get a 2-for-1 trade out. Finally, something going in their favor, and G2 put to task. Still got Hoodie standing, so there's still an opportunity for it. And Avova, the Clutch King himself, can't make it happen. Not really had a heater in that regard for himself, and Ardis will close out the round. So FPX just about holding on to this game. We're back at 10-10, back all even now. And again, money-wise, still enough to play with here. Looking at Mixwell, what's his purchase going to be like?
Well, no, you can offset with the headhunter here and maybe play a little slower. I mean, he's found value early on in that lurking role, but we'll see how this sits out. He will be able to get together rifles across the board. And looking at it now, actually, G2 almost feel as if you got to tip them the advantage here with the Hunter Fury coming online. Hoodie back on another ultimate. Ardis seems to have noted Mixwell, though. And first time I've really seen G2 pressure mid early on.
When see it, Hoodie cracks open the first, but it's, again, FPX taking brawls now.
Yeah.
Outstaying you're welcome, and Nookie's going to punish it. Going to find two right back into things, and now it looks towards those kind of isolated fights. Zipan had to win that if FPX want a chance in it. He's going to keep it secure. Little does he know, of course, there is layers to this. Nookie is on the way, as is Meadow. He slipped back to a, I was going to say safer position, but it's all about timing, and Nookie's got it. Zipan tries to dip away, but takes a little too long, but they obviously don't know where Shao is at this point. A second or two passes, they now know the site is more than likely clear, but Shao going to start working his way up through Cat. Sits towards tree as the plant comes in. The double up towards site, now one towards Hell. Nookie still by Jen. Aldrone comes in, he tries to spray around it, ignores the Aldrone as best he can. Chow, how much can you find? As a bit of a...
Find you.
Bit of a nightmare on one. And there's the first one. The shot and a half on Nookie, but can he find the final? Meadow plays it on the back line. Shao, you are sharp as hell today.
He's looked so good individually.
Yes, he has. Bloody hell.
Clutches this one out, finds the 11th for FPX, and I mean, what an exchange in mid early on as well. Zipan excruciating to watch circumstances like that, where he just doubts himself for a second, considers the possibility somebody slipped through window. Punished for it, but Shao absolutely delivers in this 1v2.
Bloody
the adjustment
hell.
on the first was beautiful as well.
He has been a treat to watch throughout this. I think, you know, just the utility work on its own was very enjoyable, but the man behind it too, the firepower that he's bringing has been quite impressive. But you can't ignore Hoodie on the other side either. I've very much been aboard the Hoodie train as of late. We saw him kind of, you know, peak towards Fracture. Everyone was very impressed with that performance, and now it's carrying it. And 11-10, these rounds have been getting close. 1v2 clutches here and there, these brawly rounds. We have the ult popped. Whichever flash that was. I was about to say, do we get to see anything behind this? Zipan just having to try and live for now. The Boba's going to note it now.
What?
Eh?
I mean, traded out quickly there, but Avova trying to
Okay.
a TikTok omen of his own to try and get onto site there. The Nightfall comes through actually as the spike is planted, so complete audio denial here from FPX.
PGL audio engineer, large and in charge on the site. So guess who's going to find Mixwell? Hoodie, Meadow, and Nookie. How much more can you do, though? Can you still try and keep control of this? Look at the weaponry. Meadow still going to be just with that Sheriff punished by Artis. Sugetsu tries to pop down the wall. You're going to see the double stack towards hell. Artis. Oh, God. And now Hoodie in a 1v3.
No way. Oh, my word.
One attempt. What a goddamn attempt from him.
I mean, FPX tried to isolate one angle for them to come through, just waterfall out of heaven.
Yep.
And Hoodie nearly punishes them for it.
Match point.
That guy's tried his hardest, man. He has
I mean,
been
he's
putting in work.
He's had a hell of an appearance here once again on the scent. 24 kills,
this
12
round?
assists as well.
Player standing.
Start with
Beautiful
the
stuff from
TP.
him.
Bloody hell. And the ability is so controlled in that, keeping just enough bullets to play with, playing this super... Oh, what that... I almost wish you closed it, because you know then people remember
Yeah,
it, clip
yeah,
it,
exactly.
you know. But it now will be lost to time, but what a valiant attempt from him. Now at 12-10, though, FPX on the cusp of kind of getting away with it. That buffer they built up on the first half is going to pay off in that off angle from Artis. Just watching that push up reads Mixwell so diligently.
In fact, we're going to come through, clear out this close angle, but won't force Artis out of this position just yet. And look at this utility exchange. Hoodie completely blinded up right now, but no pressure to follow through. The paranoia invested from Angel as well. Again, Hoodie marked it. Artis happy to just...
Sticking around.
Yeah, I was going to say, dig himself into short there, but Hoodie's just left, just waiting for some sort of silence to achieve. The spam comes through from Xiao as well.
Oh.
FPX doing everything to slow down G2 here.
Yep.
Nookie will be noted there, has to deal with the horn. But actually the TP from Avova through to backside B might give them... Oh, sorry, no, it's an Angel, sorry. My mistake, I thought actually it was Avova TPing through there.
3 players now. Flash comes in. There's the Hunter's Fury going to try and at least push Angel away for now. Nookie, though, is he out for blood on this? Does he push? No. Okay. A little bit of control here. Angel still tucked towards the back of the site, though. Doesn't get affected by this, but down to 15 HP. Still good for the frag towards Hoodie. Looks for the follow-up, tries to swing, make the most of it. Not going to get it for 14 seconds. They've got to get the spike down and get it cleanly. Nookie put to duty. Deals with at least the player pushing through by Market. Artis eyeing up towards the side. Zip and on the swing. Meadow's got 1. Meadow's got 3 this round, tell a lie. That's perfect work. And now Artis put into the 1v1 against Avova.
Oh.
Steps away, centimeters away. That smoke almost gave Avova the shot. And Artis is playing to the time. Avova's still so hyper aware of this.
This one way allows Artis to move up, though.
It does. He's managed to navigate through it, but Avova now knows that the time's
He's
gone, the
spotted him.
smoke's dissipated, and close the gap. Gets to the site, gets the defuse, and gets FPX away from what could have been a G2 turnaround.
Clutch.
Wow. FPX stabilized, or managed to stabilize, I should say, in the second half here, but what a performance from both teams. What an insane game from both
Great
teams. G2